Dear students, loving Sai Ram and welcome back. In this particular lecture, we will be seeing what are the rules for image formation in spherical lenses, how does image formation occur in a convex lens, and how does image formation occur in a concave lens. Before we proceed with the rules for image formation, I want you all to have a look at this particular ray diagram. We are having a convex lens, so this part will be our convex lens. So in our convex lens, we have marked the center as O. So this is the optical center for the convex lens, and this is the imaginary sphere. On this side and on the other side, I have got the imaginary spheres of which the lens is a part of. This point C here and this C will denote the actual center for this hollow spherical surface. So on both sides, for both these hollow spheres, the centers I have marked as C, and we know that any ray of light that is falling on this particular lens, after the refraction from the lens, it passes through the point focus, and this we have marked as F1, principal focus 1. Suppose the rays of light are incident from here, the rays are approaching the lens from this side, they converge on the point F2. Now, this distance we measure, center of this particular sphere is from the point on the lens to here. So, the whole thing will be the radius of curvature. But with respect to the optical center O, when we mark double the distance of OF1 or OF2, double this distance, suppose I call it x or small f, which denotes the focal length, twice of x or twice of the focal length, this distance may or may not coincide with this particular center of curvature depending on the curvature of the lens that we have taken. So as we know, there are other parameters also which affect these points and these distances. For example, in your higher studies you will be learning about what is the armature of a lens and different such things. So therefore, this particular point C that we mark need not actually coincide with twice the distance of, so this particular distance R that we mark need not be equal to twice the distance of 2f1 or twice the distance of 2f2. So therefore, instead of taking the point C as reference, we omit this and then we call it as 2f point, that is twice the focal length. So based on the points of optical center f1 and 2f1, we see how the image formation happens in a convex lens and a concave lens. Suppose if we look at the case of mirrors, what happens? This particular, suppose we take the example of a concave mirror and then we construct our hollow spherical surface. The pole, the center of curvature and this, the focus that we mark here, this focal point or the principal focus is exact midpoint of P and C. Whereas in lenses, this will not be the case because the distances, the radius of curvature is the distance which we measure from the point on the lens to the center, which need not coincide with 2f1 or 2f2 on the other side. So keeping this in mind, we look at our image formation in spherical lenses. Rules for image formation in a spherical lens. Rule 1. A ray of light which is originally parallel to the principal axis passes through the focus after refraction. So we have a convex lens here which forms a real image and a parallel ray of light which is incident on the lens. Exactly these rules are similar to that of the rules that we have studied in mirrors. So the same three rules we take here. A ray of light parallel to the principal axis, after refraction, earlier it was reflection in the case of mirrors, after refraction it passes through a point. So suppose we take another ray of light parallel to the principal axis, after refraction it passes through this point called principal focus. So how do we determine this particular point? We project parallel rays of light, that is rays of light that are coming from infinity, and we see that after refraction from the lens, after passing through the lens where they exactly converge, and that point we define as the principal focus of the convex lens. Suppose the rays are incident from this side, we will get another point on this side of the lens, we call it f prime. So some of the books give f and f prime, some of the books will give f1 and f2. Either case you should be able to remember that these rays of light always meet, converge at this particular point, which will be defined as the focal point or the principal focus. Rule 2, this is the converse rule. What happens? A ray of light passes through the focus, it becomes parallel to the principal axis after refraction. Same as rule 2 in the case of spherical mirrors. A ray of light passing through the focus, after refraction from the lens, it emerges parallel to the principal axis. The third rule, any ray of light passing through the optical center of the convex lens does not bend after the refraction but goes straight. This is like a ray of light which is incident or which is passing through the center of curvature of a mirror, it goes undeviated. Same way, any ray of light that is incident on the lens along the direction of optic center, this ray of light does not deviate, which means it does not undergo refraction. So these are the three rules which we need to keep in mind before we start the image formation in convex lenses. So case 1, now with the background of the concave mirror, image formation in concave mirror, if you look at the image formation in convex lens, you can see the parallels or the similarities. There are 6 cases for the image formation in a concave mirror, so also there are 6 cases for the image formation in a convex lens. So look at this object placed at infinity. Now we have drawn the lens, there are parallel rays of light, we have marked the optic center O, and on both sides. So for example, if you mark this f2 point at the distance of 4 centimeters towards right, the same thing should happen left side also 4 centimeters, and as we have seen just now, we will not call the point as C. This point C is not relevant for us now, we call it as 2f point. So from optical center to this point, if it is 4 centimeters, so the 2f point should be located at 8 centimeters on either side. So we mark these points 1, 2, 3, and same the other side also 4, and at 8 we mark these points. We use scale to draw the principal axis and parallel rays of light. So whenever you are drawing image formation in lenses and mirrors, always it's suggested that you use a scale and pencil so that we get straight parallel rays of light. Now what happens? Object is at infinity, rays of light are falling on the lens. So what happens? All these parallel rays of light, apply rule 1 now. What happens? All these converge at the point called f2, that is the principal focus on the other side of the lens. Okay. Now important thing is, again we need to talk about the image formed, that is position of the image at principal focus 2. Nature of the image, it is a real image because it can be obtained on a screen that is placed in front of the lens, real and inverted. Size of the image, what it will be? Size of the image, the object is having certain dimension, but the image is a point sized image, which means what? Highly diminished. So this is how we talk of the position, nature and size of the image in the case of the convex mirror, image formed in a convex mirror when the object is placed at infinity. Let us go to the second case. Now what is the second case in the concave mirror? Object placed beyond C. Now we call it object placed beyond 2f. So object is placed beyond 2f. Now from this object, so this is our object now. So this is the object. There are many rays of light that are emerging from the object. Out of those rays, we pick up one ray which is parallel to the principal axis. Look at this ray 1, parallel to the principal axis, and due to rule 1, we know that any ray of light parallel to the principal axis passes through the principal focus on the other side. So this is how the ray 1 emerged other side of the lens, and any other ray of light which is passing through the optical center goes undeviated. So this is how the ray of light passes and goes off. So this is our second, this is our first ray. Now this is the point at which these two rays meet. Similarly, if you check all the other rays that are coming, these particular rays, they recreate the image on the other side, which is situated between f and 2f of the lens. So a real and inverted image formed between f and 2f on the other side of the lens, and it is diminished. Look at the dimension of the object. Look at the dimension of the object and dimension of the image. It is a bit shorter than the object that we have chosen. So therefore, let's tabulate position of the image between f and 2f formed on the other side of the lens. Nature of the image, real and inverted. Size of the image, it is diminished. So this is how we talk of the position, nature and size of the image formed. You need to remember that the image formation, drawing the ray diagrams for convex lens or concave lens is much easier because the optic center is situated here, exactly at this point. So a ray of light coming, so from here itself we show the image formation. So this point we call it f, and 2f we can mark. But whereas in mirrors, what is happening? The ray of light that we are drawing, it hits the surface of the mirror. But in the case of lenses, it's easier for us to draw because the lens surface is the outward surface, but we show, at least when we are drawing the image formation, we show that the refraction happening from this point itself. This is how the ray diagrams are drawn. So this way the formation of images in concave lens or convex lens becomes easier, and this distances are marked exactly. So it's easier to draw the image formation in lenses compared to that of mirrors. Case 3, object placed at 2f. So there in the case of mirrors it was object placed at C. Here we call it 2f. So the object is placed here. Choose two rays of light. One ray of light which is coming here parallel passes through the focus. So this is the first ray of light. The first ray of light. Another ray of light passing through the optical center which goes undeviated. Now you might wonder, can we use the rule 3 also? Definitely you can use the rule 3 also. Any ray of light passing through the focus, after refraction it emerges parallel to the principal axis. So if you use your scale and pencil and draw, you find that these straight lines, when drawn correctly, they exactly form the image at this point only. So therefore you can use rule 1. So for constructing the image you can use any two of the 3 rules. Use any 2 rules or apply any 2 rules out of the 3 rules, whichever is suitable for us now. So in this particular case we can use rule 1 and 2, rule 2 and 3, or rule 1 and 3. Any 2 if we use, you will get it. So first ray of light, this is how it goes. The second ray of light, after refraction it doesn't deviate, it goes. So this is the point where these two meet. And when you reconstruct the image here, the image formed is, if you look at the dimensions of the image formed, you will find that the image is having the same dimension as that of the object, and this you can verify when you draw exactly. draw a convex lens and mark the optic center exactly at the center, and you can draw a very thin line passing through the center of the lens, which makes it half. In some of the books they give a very thin line which is drawn exactly at the center of the lens. Now if you mark these points symmetrical and mark these distances exactly on either side of the lens, you can find that, suppose you can verify this, draw a convex lens and then draw a thin line and mark all these distances. For example, mark it 3 and 3 centimeters. If this is 3, the whole thing should become 6. On the other side also it should become 6. So you can check it, put a 5 centimeter tall object and exactly draw parallel lines parallel to the principal axis and let it pass through the focus on the other side. Draw another ray of light which is passing through the optical center, which meets the first ray here, and then if you check this distance, exactly it will be the same as 5 centimeters, only if you place the object at 2f. Suppose we place any other side, you will have different distances, but in the case 3, whenever the object is placed at 2f, the image is also formed at 2f. It is having the same dimension as that of the object. So let us write down position of the image, it is at 2f. Nature of the image, real and inverted. Size of the image, it is same size as that of the object. So this is how we write for the case 3. Case 4. Now initially we place the object at infinity, beyond 2f, at 2f, now between f and 2f. Again, 2 rays of light. If you want, you can draw the same diagram with a ray passing through the focus and emerging parallel. You will still see that it exactly intersects at the same point. Now ray 1, which is parallel to the principal axis, passes through the focus. So this is my ray 1 passing through the principal focus. Any other ray of light which is passing through the optical center, it goes undeviated and then it intersects the first ray at this point. So this is my second ray. Now the image is formed beyond 2f. So which means when I place the object between f and 2f, the image is formed beyond 2f on the other side of the lens. It is real, inverted and enlarged image. Position of the image is beyond 2f. Nature of the image is real and inverted. Size of the image is enlarged. So this is how we tabulate our results in this particular case. Case 5. Now we know the object is placed at f1. First ray of light, which is parallel to the principal axis, passes through the focus. Another ray of light which is passing through the optical center goes undeviated. So this is my second ray. Now if you draw correctly, we observe that these 2 rays of light, they never intersect on this side of the lens, which means these 2 are parallel rays of light which intersect at infinity. That is how we put it in words. So therefore there is no exact point at which these 2 rays will meet. So the image is formed at infinity. It is highly enlarged compared to the size of the object. A real inverted image formed at infinity which is highly enlarged. So position of the image at infinity. Nature of the image, real and inverted. Size of the image, it is highly enlarged now, highly enlarged. Now last case for the image formation in a convex lens, and in this particular case alone we will be getting a virtual image now. object placed between F and O. This is exactly similar to the last case that we have studied in a concave mirror, object placed between F and P of a concave mirror. Now here the object is placed between F and O, the optical center. So the object is placed here. First ray of light after passing through the lens, it goes through the principal focus on the other side of the lens. Another ray of light which is passing through the optic center, it goes undeviated. Now if you look at the first and the second ray, these two rays are diverging. It is going in this particular direction, this ray goes off here. So there is no point on this side. So suppose I draw two diverging rays like this. On this side they never meet because this is going off in one direction, this goes off in another direction. But suppose if I extend back and look, suppose when I extend it back, it appears as if they are coming from a particular point, a single point. So therefore, using this we can see that the first ray and the second ray, they don't meet on this right side of the lens, and we see that suppose we extend the ray 1 and take it back and extend the ray 2 and take it back, it appears as if they are converging or meeting at this point. It is only appearing as if the light ray has started from here and they are diverging and going off. So therefore, in this particular case, the image is not obtained on the screen, but the image is formed on the same side of the lens. It is virtual and erect image which is formed on the same side of the lens, and the dimension is enlarged. Look at the size of the object and look at the size of the image. It is an enlarged image. Position of the image on the same side of the lens. In all the other 5 cases we have seen the other side of the lens. Position of the image is on the same side of the lens. Nature of the image, now it is virtual and erect. Size of the image is enlarged. So this erect, so this completes the image formation in a convex lens, and when we tabulate our results, we will see like this. Only the last case we will be having a virtual image. All these 5 cases, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Look at all these 5 cases. Object at infinity, the image is formed at the focus, highly diminished. So position of the image, size of the image, and nature of the image. So these 3 are the important things. So position of the object we know. What will happen to the position of the image, size and nature of the image. So if you look at this, only the first 5, focus only on the first 5, let us talk about the last case later. Now look at this, there is similarity or there is some kind of symmetric nature when we make this tabular column. Object at infinity, look at this now, this is at infinity, beyond 2f, at 2f, between f and 2f, at focus and at focus. So exactly the order, if you reverse and write, so at infinity, beyond 2f, at 2f, between f and 2f, at the focus. Now write the same order, it follows, you can see the similarity. So there is some kind of symmetric nature between the position of the object and position of the image for a convex lens and a concave mirror, if you remember. Similarly, there is some kind of pattern you can observe at the size of the image, highly diminished, diminished, same size, enlarged and highly enlarged, infinitely larger, highly enlarged. You can use either of these 2 terms. So there is some kind of repeating pattern or some kind of symmetric nature you can see, and the nature of the image is always real and inverted. The last case, when you place the object between F and O, remember, compare this with the tabular column that we have drawn for a concave mirror. The image is formed on the same side of the lens. It is an enlarged image, virtual and erect. So the convex lens is equivalent to concave mirror, the image formation in a convex lens is equivalent to the image formation in a concave mirror, which means equivalent in the sense we get the same, we have the same positions for the objects, we see the same nature and size of the images. If you compare, you can see the similarity. So, though there is reflection and refraction happening, convex lens and a concave mirror can produce both real and virtual images, whereas a concave lens and a convex mirror always produces only virtual and there is no real image. Now, a concave lens is also called diverging lens. We have seen before why it is called a diverging lens, because of the structure and the curvature of the lens that is placed here. The rays of light, they diverge and go off on this side. So, there is no way in which, suppose focus only on ray 1 and ray 2 on the other side of the lens. These two are diverging and going, one is going in the upward direction, this is going towards down. Now, on this side of the lens they never meet, but if you extend back all these rays, they appear to emerge from a point which is defined as the principal focus for a concave lens. And second point, importantly, a concave lens produces only virtual images, which means these are virtual and direct, we can never obtain these images on a screen. So, therefore, concave lens and convex mirror, so because we are placing our objects on the left, there is no exact point at which we can mark and then move the positions, check the different positions of the object. So, therefore, there are hardly two cases in a concave lens and a convex mirror. Object is placed at infinity. What happens? All the parallel rays of light that are emerging from the object, after the refraction they diverge on the other side of the lens, and if you extend back these individual rays of light, they appear as if they are coming from the point f1, that is the principal focus of the concave lens. Similarly, how you are drawing your image formation for a convex lens? A concave lens you can draw, let us do it here. Suppose you are drawing a concave lens. So, it is important to remember that, like how you have made a point for mirrors, you can never draw a lens like this is wrong, or you can never draw a lens like this, a concave lens, this is also wrong. Similarly, a convex lens, it should not be like this, nor it should be like this. All these are wrong ways, so it should have a minimum and decent curvature. So, convex lens you can draw something like this. If you look in your books, you will know. Similarly, a concave lens, a concave lens can be drawn like this, and a thin line, very thin line can be drawn at the center. Let us take the example of a convex lens, and we can draw a very thin line which is passing through the center of the lens. Of course, when you use a scale, you will be getting a straight line. So, remember this, how we draw concave and convex lenses. Position of the image for the case 1 of the concave lens. Position of the image is at focus. Nature of the image is virtual and erect. Size of the image is highly diminished. So, this is how we check the position, nature and size of the images in case 1 for a concave lens. Case 2 for the concave lens, object placed between infinity and O. You can place the object anywhere between infinity and O. The rays of light that are coming from the object, they never pass through and form an image or impression on the other side, which means we can never obtain the image on the right side on a screen. So, since the image formed is virtual in nature, when we place the object between anywhere in between infinity and O, that is the optic center. So, let us keep the object here. A ray of light is coming. As we know, after refraction it diverges and goes off the other side, but if you extend it back, it appears to come from the focus, that is f1. So the ray of light which diverged and went off in this direction, it appears, this will be a dotted line for you. So you need to draw a dotted line because they are not exactly coming back. You need to draw a dotted line backward and then make it pass through focus. So ray of light parallel to the principal axis passes through the focus, appears to pass through the focus, and another ray of light. So my ray 1 is over. Now ray 2, any ray of light which is passing through the optic center, it goes undeviated, which means there is no refraction or bend that is happening after it passes the lens. So therefore the first ray and the second ray, these two intersect at this point. So my image is formed on the same side of the lens, which we can never obtain it on a screen. It's a virtual image and erect image, virtual and erect. The image is formed between optic center and F. It is diminished. Look at the dimension of the object. Look at the dimension of the object and look at the dimension of the image. It is diminished. So therefore, let's write down position of the image between F1 and O, or F and O you can write. Nature of the image virtual and erect. Size of the image, it is diminished. So this is how we tabulate our result: position of the object, position, size and nature of the image. Relative size we call it. Why? Because the size of the image is always relative to that of the object. When we say highly diminished or diminished, diminished with respect to the object, or in earlier cases we saw enlarged or highly enlarged, it is with respect to the object. So therefore, when the object is placed, there are only two cases. Now object placed at infinity, the image is formed at the focus, it is highly diminished or point sized, you can use any of these terms, it is always virtual and erect. Similarly, second case, whenever you place the object between infinity and the optical center, we see that the image is formed between F and optical center on the same side of the lens. It is diminished and it is virtual and erect. So in this lecture we have seen what are the rules for image formation in a concave lens and a convex lens. How does the image formation happen in a convex lens and how the image formation happens in a concave lens, and we could also relate to these and compare this with respect to the images that are formed in the convex mirror and concave mirror. With this we conclude this lecture. Thank you. Sai Ram.